Okay, Viv, so you've been going to Libya backwards and forwards a few times.
Twice.
Twice.
I went once in May 2011, while the war was still on, and I've just come back now from a second visit.
So what was your purpose in both of these visits?
The first visit was with a British charity called Global Civilians for Peace in Libya, and it was really a peace mission. And the object was to go out there and find out what NATO was doing, look for evidence of NATO actually injuring civilians and targeting civilian targets rather than military targets, and looking at the general effect that the war was having on ordinary people.
So what were the conclusions from that visit?
Well, my visit with them was the second of three, and I think we all came to much the same conclusions. I mean, I personally saw, a school that had been bombed. We saw residential streets that had been bombed. It was very clear that. Oh, and there was one night. The hotel where we were staying is right opposite the docks, and one night there were about 8 bombs dropped. So that was terrifying. I've got a picture of me in a ball of fire, with a ball of fire behind me. So
you're talking about bombs from planes,
yes,
from jets?
Yes, from NATO, yeah.
So they just terrorized the whole place, basically.
Yes, they did. And it's very interesting, at that time, the reaction from Libyan people were, why is NATO doing this to us? Why are you doing this to us?
And you visited other cities and towns?
Yes, we did. We spent a long day we went to Bani Walid.
Would you say the town has been devastated and destroyed, Bani Walid, or is it still relatively intact?
Bani Walid was still relatively intact. Sirte is just obliterated, and a lot of people were saying to me that the houses that are still standing will probably have to be pulled down because they're too unsafe. And in Misrata, one main street, Tripoli Street, that's completely obliterated as well, but that's mostly businesses, I think, and shops rather than houses. In Sirte, it's people's homes. And I was there the week before last, and they just, the day before, had the electricity switch back on. It had been off since Ramadan, so off since August. So they'd been cooking on, open fires and stuff.
So people actually survived the onslaught. They're still there.
Some are still there. I think a lot have moved. A lot have gone to stay with relatives elsewhere. But yeah, there were quite a lot of people there. And the Red Crescent are there in force, and they're doing food distribution and stuff like that. We saw their stores, rice, beans, dates.
I mean, Libya was a proud, independent country.
I know.
And now it's, even the good guys that go to give them food and things, it's just like a forced dependency.
I know, and I was taking photographs in Sirte, and I suddenly became aware that that wasn't very welcome. They didn't want people to see them having to receive aid, so I stopped taking any pictures. But, I don't think anybody really thinks any badly because people need help.
And don't you feel that it's just been an immense war crime that's been committed?
Yes, it is a huge war crime. Massive war crime. And of course nothing will be done.
Nobody really came to his aid, and the Muslims were terrible, the other Arab countries. Really travesty. And Syria they're trying to do the same with now.
I mean, the only thing is that NATO has succeeded really in elevating Gaddafi to legend status now.
That's right.
And that's not ever going to go away, and nobody can destroy that. I feel it's a tragedy for Africa what's happened. A tragedy. Who else is going to be their champion? Nobody. And again, with the rebels, the TNC, they are very racist, in my opinion. I've seen videos online of black people being lynched from second floor windows in Benghazi. And certainly there is an attitude, but I think the Libyans have a bit of a rude awakening. I really do. They think the war's over, and it isn't, and they think that everything's going to be all right now, and only time will tell that.